In this video, we will learn how to create animation like this. Okay, so we are in our Blender scene and this is our controller model. So first we will press Shift A, empty, and then plane axis. And to scale it down, I will right click and adjust empty size and make it small like this. So now I will select all these components and then Shift, select empty, Control P and parent with object. So we can now move it around. So I will call this controller. So we have our controller. So now first I will press RX and just rotate it 45 degrees. So now I will press Shift A and select camera. I will just reset its rotation and press RX 90 to rotate it in 90 degrees. Scale the camera down and press GZ, place it here. And now I will also create an empty plane axis and scale it down. Okay, so let's just call it camera controller. If I go to camera and then Shift, select the camera controller, Control P and keep transform. So if I press 0 and select that camera controller, I can press S to scale the camera and press double R to rotate the view and G to just move around. Okay, we will now set our camera. So to set the camera, I will select this camera controller and press S and scale it. Something like this. And also I will select that camera, go to camera settings and set focal length to 200 and press S and I will just go like this. So this is our initial camera. So now I will keep this as it is to frame 0 and press K to set location, rotation and scale keyframe, and I will go to frame 30 and scale it a little bit like that, and I will press K, location, rotation and scale. So if we scroll down, you see we slowly zooming into the camera. So now I will go backward some frames and I will press K and add another keyframe. And now if I move this to like here, you see it slows down the animation. Now select all the keyframes, press T and select linear. So now if we go back and replay, it makes it little smoother. So after frame 30, now we will go to frame 60. We want to focus on that area. So press S to scale, G to move here and double R to rotate around. Something like that. Press G again and S to scale. Okay, so we are good with this frame. I will press K and set a keyframe. So now if you see, our camera is moving here from here to here. So again we will go some steps back and set a keyframe and again move the keyframe back to slow down at the end. Something like that. So we will create an effect like this. Let's just delete this keyframe because we want that movement to be subtle. So I will go like here and set a keyframe and move it back. So it looks like that. And now I will go to frame 90 and now press G to move it and double R to rotate and S to scale, G to move like here, K to insert keyframe. Again go 1 or 2 steps back and I will press K and set a keyframe and we will move it here. Now we can preview that. Okay, now we will next go to 120 frame and move this camera to here and press double R to rotate and just G and place it here. S to scale and zoom out a little. This is good. I will press K and insert keyframe. Move some frames back. At this frame, let's insert another keyframe and move it backward. So something like that. And now I will move to frame 150 and again adjust the camera angle. And insert keyframe. Move some frames back like this and set keyframe and move it backward. Okay, now for the closing part, we want to go back. So I will go to first frame. I click and shift D and just move it to like frame 180. So we are now just moving back to the starting point of the animation. So we have done animation like this. Now we want to slow down the animation. To slow it down, I will just move this and we can go to frame 1 and we can just select all these and press S and you can scale it all the way up to 300 frame. Now if I play the animation, so we get something like this. If we delete that keyframe, we will get more smoother animation at the end. To make starting more interesting, I will go to frame 10 or like here. At frame 50, I will rotate the camera in Z. No, it's Y. On Y-axis a little bit like that and just press K and replace keyframe. Also delete this keyframe and if I go some frame back and add keyframe and just move it like here. So like that. So now we are done with animation. So what we want now? When we go here, I want controller joysticks to rotate. So to do that, I will just shift select these joysticks, both of them, and make sure the pivot point is at the center of these joysticks. And I will press K and set location and rotation because I don't want to scale. And I will just go some frames ahead, like 18 frame. And let's first zoom into that and I will press R and Y and rotate it like this and I insert keyframe and then I will go 4 to 5 frames forward and I will select these first keyframes again and press Shift D to duplicate and I will press R and X and rotate it like this. Again I will set an keyframe and also again I will press Shift D, move it here and here I will just press R and Y and move it this way. Again I will move forward and Shift D, move it here and again R and X and rotate it upward. Something like that. And just press K, location and rotation. So if we replay, it goes left bottom, but we have missed one keyframe. So press R and Y and press K, location and rotation. So now it's rotating correctly and again I want them back to its position. So duplicate first frame and move it. And now if you see, it rotates like that. Okay, so let's go to camera view. We will go to like here. We want this animation to start here. So now Now select the camera controller. We move to this keyframe. From here I want this button to be pressed, so I will first select these 4 buttons and I will press K, location and rotation, and I will move just forward and shift D. Okay, and at somewhere at the middle of this point I will just press G and Z and move down, and then set the keyframe again. And this is how our buttons look. So I will select all and press S to make it faster. Press S little more faster. So I want this button to press first and then this and this and then this. So I will first go to this one. So when it stops I will select other button and move starting keyframe to this position. So I will press G and move it, and now select next button and move it forward. Again go to last keyframe, select another one and move keyframes. So what we have done, we did this 4 button animation. So if I play that, okay, so now when we go to this, we want this light to turn on. So I will go to that viewport shading, go to render view. So it's now black. So just to see, I will go to world property and bump that light strength. So now if I select the camera controller, we see our camera is like here. So here we want to select this light and go to material setting, and in the materials go to emission tab, and if we turn up the strength, it will turn the light on. Okay, so what I will do, I will just click here to insert a keyframe, and I will just go little ahead and bump up the strength value like this, and I will just again press that button to set the keyframe, and I will again go back. Let's make it little faster like that. Okay, now we will move to next section, and here we will do the same thing we did for the other buttons. So I will just press K and location and rotation. At this point I will go little forward and shift D to duplicate around here, and I will press G, Z, more like that, and set a keyframe on location and rotation. So now you see our buttons are pressing. To make it faster, I will press S. Okay, this looks good. Now I will go like that. So I will go to last keyframe, and then I will select other buttons and press G to move it like here, and I will do this to another 2 buttons. So now our button looks like this. Now we are moving to this view. I'm just going to leave it like this, and now we are back to our starting position. So if we replay our animation, so it will be like this. Cool. So our animation part is done. So now we will add the lighting to the scene. So to do that, I will just go to our render shading, go to world setting, and I will turn down the strength to like 0.02 or just 0.01. So it's just a subtle lighting to see. Press Shift A, light and area light. Press G and Z to move it up. Now I will press S to scale, something like that, and press G and move it little further. And now I will go to our camera, and I can now press double R to adjust the rotation. but we want our lighting to rotate from that 3D cursor. So I will select here 3D cursor, and if I press double R, you can see we are rotating around our cursor. For the lighting, our lighting looks kind of flat, so to fix that, I will just pick it up and select that light and go to shader editor, enable use nodes, and if I press Shift A, search for wave texture and move it here and plug that color into color slot. But we don't see any difference yet. So if we go to the light settings and we decrease the spread, now we can see our light texture, and now we decrease our size of light. So now I want to rotate our texture map. So let's press Ctrl T with node wrangler add-on enabled. Select these rotation values and we can rotate it like that. Okay, so for now I am good with this default rotation, and I also want to decrease the power like that. So now if I go back to our timeline and now I press O and press double R to rotate our light somewhere like here, and I will just increase the size of light, and to smooth out those light streaks I will increase the spread a little bit, something like that, and rotate again. Okay, I will add another light and move up and scale down. GZ to the top and also press double R and move it somewhere like that, and I will increase the size and decrease the spread value and also adjust the power, something like that, and again rotate it. Like that. So this looks good, and if I just move some keyframe, now let's add a backdrop. So for the backdrop I will go press Shift key, mesh plane, and I will just scale it down somewhere around here and GZ like that, and if we press tab and edge selection, select this EZ and move it up. We just bevel this edge with Ctrl B and scroll to add more segments. Now tab out, right click, shade smooth, and if I press 0 and go to like this, you will see, but we don't want to see that bottom, so press GZ and move it down. And in the material tab I will create new material and set color to white, and now if we go to this frame, and here we don't see any light, and here you can see our backdrop is not in the scene, so I will select our backdrop and press S and X to scale. Now select our camera controller. Let's check our keyframes. So I will go to frame 50 and select our area light, press K and add keyframe. Go to this frame and I will decrease the spread value and increase the size. Press K and add another keyframe to lock our light. This looks good. So for the next frame I will select camera controller and at the keyframe I will select our area light and press K to set the keyframe, and then we move to our next spot. and we want our light there. So I will press double R and set the light to here, should be very subtle, and insert a keyframe. And so now when we move from one frame to other, our lighting also rotates, and now our light turns on. And now we move forward, and I will again go to camera controller and go to the frame and select area light. I will press Shift D to copy that frame and go to this frame again and select our area light and rotate to set our lighting like that. And I will set another keyframe. So now I will go to that back part here, and I will press Shift D and duplicate that frame. And again, if I go to this angle and I will select area light and press R to rotate like that, and I will decrease the size like that, and I will press K, location, rotation and scale. So we lose our light here. So let me increase the size again, and now we will go to this. We can rotate more and replace the keyframe. And then again, I want our light to be at the exact spot as starting point. So I will select the first frame and duplicate and move to our last frame. Something like that. And now we can adjust our second light. If we want, we can power up like that. And also we can rotate this light and adjust the setting however we want. So we got this cool animation. Okay, so also if we want to add that camera depth of field effect to that camera, so to do that, one trick we can do: press Shift A and then we can create an empty and scale it down like here, like that. And I will call that camera DOF. So what I am going to do is, we set our focus point of the camera to follow this empty. So I will go to the camera and enable depth of field, and in the object I will select that camera DOF. So now this will act as our focus point. So if we go to render view, press 0, you can see our focus point is at the origin. We can move by pressing G, Z and move up. Now our focus is moving upward, and if I go to this frame, and we can lower our f-stop value. Somewhere like this, and if I select that camera DOF and move it to like here at this button, you can see now our focus also move. So again, I will adjust the f-stop value. And we get this beautiful depth of field. So now at the first step, and we want our focus to be on that area. So now at this point, if we move from here to here, you can see our depth of field is little off. So we can go to camera controller and find its keyframe. Now select our camera DOF and add keyframe on location and rotation. And again go to this frame and set our focus point. So I will press this and press G, X to here, and I will press 7 and G and move it here, and I will press GZ and move it down, and K and set keyframe, and we see our focus point is on spot. And now if we go there, our focus is here, and if we just move here, and then our focus also shift to here, and we can do this. So here I will select our DOF and shift D to duplicate the frame, and you can just go to camera controller and go to this frame and select and move our focus again. So now our focus is set to here, and let's set a keyframe. You can always adjust your f-stop value if you think it's too much. So let's decrease the f-stop value to make more area in focus. And now if we go here, and I will select DOF, press Shift D and move it here, and go to next frame here, and again select DOF and move. So now we set our keyframe, and now we want to move from here to here, and we want our focus to be in the center of the controller. So I will duplicate the first frame to here, and now we can press G and X and move it to center. Okay, so now if you think our backdrop is dark, you can just go select that frame and go to material tab, and in the emission you can just bump up the strength, so like 0.05 looks good to me. So now our animation is ready to render out. If you like this video, hit that like button. For more animation tutorials, practical techniques and creative insights, subscribe to our channel. Write down in the comments what you would like to see next, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.